Chase and I were best friends growing up, but once I put on weight in middle school, he just stopped talking to me. So when he handed me a glass of milk on the day of my NYU early admission interview, I was honestly touched. I drank the whole thing. When I woke up, my hair was all over the floor. Vivian Whitehead, cheerleader, of course, was standing there with scissors, grinning like a cat. Chase, that sleeping pill worked great. I basically shaved this pig bald. I looked at Chase, waiting for him to say something, anything. He just shrugged. Vivian lost at Truth or Dare. It was either cut your hair or add random guys on Snapchat. Then he looked at me, completely blank. You're fat anyway. You don't look good either way. This was the same boy who once told me he'd marry me when my hair reached my waist. I didn't cry, not in front of them. I just quietly changed my early admission choice to Oxford, 5,000 miles away. In the bathroom mirror, my head looked like something a dog had chewed on. Patches of hair stuck up everywhere, other spots completely bare. I looked ridiculous. My hands shook as I tried to comb through what was left. Strands kept falling into the sink, mixing with my tears. I wanted to storm out and scream at Chase. Why? Why would he do this? But my interview was in 20 minutes. I bit my lip hard and tried to smooth the mess down, pulling whatever long pieces were left over the bald spots. It was useless. I looked like a complete clown. Did you hear? Vivian actually cut that fat pig Evelyn's hair. Girls' voices floated in from outside the stall. I froze, pressing myself against the wall. No way. Yes way. Chase bought the sleeping pills himself. That's why she was knocked out cold. That's kind of messed up though. Please. She's a fat pig who doesn't know her place. She's been chasing Chase forever, when everyone knows he and Vivian have been together for ages. She deserved it, right? How could someone like her think the baseball captain would ever be interested? Girl needs to look in a mirror. Every word hit like a needle. I slid down to the bathroom floor, my back against the cold tile. I couldn't even cry anymore. I just felt frozen. So that's how it was. All those years I'd told myself he was just awkward, just stressed, just being a typical guy. Lies, all lies. He thought I was embarrassing, not worth his time. So he let Vivian destroy the interview I'd spent years preparing for, just to clear her path to NYU. Memories came flooding back. When I tripped during PE, he frowned and walked away while everyone laughed. The breakfast I made him, he gave it to someone else. When I tried to walk home with him, he sped up and left me behind. Every single time, I made excuses for him. God, I was so stupid. I actually thought if I just lost weight, just got better grades, I could be good enough for him. That maybe our childhood promise still meant something. But to him, I was just the annoying fat girl who wouldn't take a hint. And he'd had a girlfriend this whole time. My phone buzzed. Mom, Evelyn, how was the interview? Don't be nervous. Mom believes in you. I stared at the screen until my vision cleared. Then I typed back. Mom, go to Chase's house and cancel the engagement. But don't tell him yet. I skipped the NYU interview. I walked into the Oxford interview room instead, looking like a disaster. The examiners definitely noticed. But I took a deep breath and just answered their questions. Maybe it was my composure. Maybe my answers were good. Either way, they stopped staring at my hair. Evelyn, we look forward to seeing you on campus in September. Walking out, my heart was pounding. Chase and I had planned to go to NYU together for years. That dream had kept me going through every late-night study session. But after that text to Mom, he wasn't part of my plans anymore. That night, our families had dinner together. Mom and Chase's mom stepped away to talk privately. Chase kept glancing at me. Finally, he asked, "How'd the interview go?" "Good," I said, not looking up. "The professor's excited to see me on campus." His face changed. "With your grades, NYU was a sure thing. Why'd you have to compete for the early admission spot? That's pretty selfish." Selfish? I almost laughed. "My hair got hacked off, and you're worried my score is higher than hers?" He flinched. "Those are two different things. I was just worried something might happen to Vivian during their prank. She's different from you. She's pretty. What if she'd run into creeps on the street? She's different from you." 5 words. That's all it took to break something in me. I just nodded. Our moms came back, eyes a little red. I stood up to leave with Mom. Chase grabbed my wrist. What were they talking about? It had been forever since he'd touched me. Probably grossed him out. I pulled my hand back. Nothing. Just worried about our future. "Chase, we don't have a future anymore." The next day at school, everyone stared at my destroyed hair. The pig got a new hairstyle. Fatty's so trendy got herself a perm. The guys cracked up. Chase was with them, smiling along. Our eyes met. His smile froze. My chest stung. I looked away and walked to my seat. The bell rang. Our teacher announced one last round of class officer elections before graduation. I walked up to give my speech, looking ridiculous. The guys kept snickering the whole time. My hands were shaking, but I got through it. The teacher applauded first. Some of the girls followed. Then Vivian stood up and strolled to the front. Short skirt, perfect hair flowing, looking like everything I wasn't. She barely glanced at some scrap paper, stumbled over her words, blushed, and giggled. The guys laughed like it was adorable. I couldn't laugh. The votes were counted. Tied. The teacher looked at Chase. "You can't abstain. Cast the tiebreaker." Everyone turned to watch him. He stood up slowly and walked to the front. I stared at him, my eyes burning. I didn't have hope anymore. Not really. But some tiny part of me still whispered, what if? What if he remembered elementary school? When he pushed scared little me onto the stage, bought candy to bribe kids into voting for me, smiled bigger than I did when I won? What if he remembered that being class president made me feel like I mattered? He handed his folded vote to the teacher. "Vivian, 25. Evelyn, 24. Vivian is the new class president. Evelyn, do the handover after class." I sat there, frozen. Everything went quiet, except for the ache in my chest. Chase walked back to his seat without looking at me. I lowered my head. Tears dropped onto my textbook. The girl next to me panicked and patted my back. 10 years. I'd been class president for nearly 10 years. From needing him to buy votes for me, to earning them myself. He knew better than anyone what that position meant to me. The chubby pretty girl everyone stared at. It was the one small thing that made me feel worthwhile, and he took it away. For her. I couldn't even say I'm fine. The little boy who bought me candy was dead. Chase was the baseball captain now, the top student, the cheerleader's boyfriend. Just not mine anymore. After school, I found Vivian for the handover. She didn't even look at me. I just checked herself in a mirror. There's not much to hand over, honestly. Chase said I'd be fine. He told me to just go for it. She smiled. If even you could be a good class president, it must be super easy. I grabbed my stuff and left. Evelyn. Chase caught up and blocked my path. About the vote. He paused, like explaining himself was painful. I didn't deliberately not pick you. It's just, Vivian's never been a class officer. It's almost graduation. Let her have this, you know? No regrets. Don't overthink it. I said nothing. He reached for my arm. I stepped away. My eyes landed on the fitness band on his wrist. He'd worn it so long the edges were fraying. Vivian's birthday gift. A few bucks from the convenience store. She'd put it on him herself. And those limited edition sneakers I'd saved years of allowance to buy him, he'd never worn them once. But this cheap plastic band, still right there on his wrist. I ran home without a word. After that, Chase seemed to notice something was off. When guys made fun of my hair, he'd actually snap at them. What's so funny? Go, do your homework. He'd share his notes when I couldn't find mine. He'd hang around after school like he was waiting for me. Too little, too late. Rain on cracked ground doesn't heal anything. It's just noise. For the pre-graduation festival, each class had to put on a performance. Vivian wrote the script. A short play about an obese, shameless, clueless high school girl desperately trying to seduce a guy, hiding his sneakers, faking falls to get his attention, copying the pretty girl's outfits and becoming a laughingstock. Every line was designed to humiliate me. When the script reached my desk, the whole class was already laughing. Chase got cast as the male lead. He read it, frowned, and glanced my way. I went to the teacher with tears in my eyes. She sighed and said the program had already been submitted. That night, I stayed up writing Chase a letter. I used every humble word I could think of, begging him not to perform, begging him to leave me just a little dignity. The next day, I saw him arguing with Vivian in the hallway. He was frowning. She had tears in her eyes, pulling at his arm. A tiny spark of hope lit up in my chest. Maybe there was still a chance. On performance day, I sat in the back corner, so nervous I thought I'd throw up. Then the character walked on stage, wearing a messy wig, ugly makeup, acting out my worst moments for everyone to laugh at. Honey, don't get so close to those bad girls. My little heart can't take it. The audience howled. People kept pointing at me. That's the fatty. Then Chase and Vivian made their entrance. Handsome guy, beautiful girl. The crowd went wild. Kiss, get together. I watched in silence. He still performed. The boy I grew up with, the one who used to be my whole world. Up there on that stage, my heart felt hollow, cold wind blowing straight through. The play was a hit. Vivian was beaming. Chase looked distracted, scanning the crowd for something. But I was already gone. Evelyn, where are you? It's just a play. Everyone goes a little crazy before graduation. Don't be so sensitive. Answer your phone. Let's talk. Evelyn, I didn't answer any of his calls. Chase panicked. He ran to the office to check on interview results. They told him my early admission was basically guaranteed. He relaxed. After the college entrance exams, he tested well. His messages changed. We'll go to NYU together. Everything will be fine. I made a freshman guide. I'll take you to that famous food street they have those Thai crepes you love. Evelyn, let's date. All of them went unanswered. He was nervous, but he figured when September came and school started, he'd have 4 years to fix things. How hard could it be to win back one angry girl? September 1st. NYU's campus was buzzing with new students. Chase organized his dorm and rushed to the girls' building. His heart was pounding. He was actually nervous. He called me. It rang and rang. I picked up. Hey, where are you? Come downstairs. Let's hit the food street. He tried to sound casual, like nothing had happened. We haven't seen each other all summer and you didn't even call. But whatever. I'm a bigger person. I forgive you. Silence on my end. Then my voice, soft but clear. I didn't apply to NYU. He froze.
Chase's smile disappeared. What do you mean? You didn't apply? I looked out the window of my dorm room. Behind me, students wheeled suitcases through an ancient stone courtyard beneath gray skies. Bells echoed across campus. I go to Oxford now. Silence. Then he laughed. Stop joking. I'm not. You're at Oxford? Yes. His breathing became uneven. But your interview, your hair. I still went. You skipped NYU? I skipped you. The line went completely quiet. Finally he whispered. Why? For the first time in years, I smiled. Because I finally realized something. You never wanted me. So I stopped wanting you. Click. I hung up. Back in New York. Chase stood outside the girls' dorm holding 2 bags of Thai crepes. His phone slowly lowered from his ear. No. He laughed weakly. She's kidding. He immediately called admissions. Hi, I'm looking for Evelyn Carter. The keyboard clicked. I'm sorry, sir. There isn't anyone by that name enrolled here. His legs gave out. The bags slipped from his hands. The crepes scattered across the sidewalk. No. He called our old teacher. Evelyn. Oh, didn't anyone tell you? She won a full scholarship to Oxford. The interview panel loved her. His voice cracked. Even after. The haircut. The teacher sighed. They admired her composure. They said anyone who could answer difficult questions while looking like that had remarkable confidence. She made every interviewer cry. Click. That night Chase drove home. For the first time in months, he opened the closet. Hidden in the very back were the limited edition sneakers I'd saved for over 2 years to buy him. Still untouched. He stared at them for a long time. Then he noticed something underneath. A faded envelope. His name. His handwriting. He opened it. Inside was the letter I'd written before the graduation play. Chase, please don't do it. I know you love Vivian. I know I'm embarrassing. I won't ask you to like me. I just want to leave high school with a little dignity. Please. The paper shook violently in his hands. He'd never read it. Vivian had intercepted it before it reached him. He collapsed onto the bedroom floor. No. His shoulders trembled. No. For the first time since elementary school. Chase cried. The next morning, he confronted Vivian. Did you take Evelyn's letter? Vivian didn't even deny it. So what if I did? You would have canceled the play. Exactly. You were supposed to choose me. His face turned white. You ruined everything. She rolled her eyes. Oh, please. She was fat. Everyone laughed. It wasn't a big deal. Chase slapped the script she'd written onto the table. You drugged her. You shaved her head. You destroyed her interview. You humiliated her in front of the entire school. And I, his voice broke, helped you. Vivian finally looked nervous. Chase, we're done. You can't break up with me over that pig. He looked at her as though she were a complete stranger. The only pig here was me. He walked away without looking back. Months passed. Oxford changed me. I joined the rowing club. Started hiking every weekend. Not because I hated my body. Because for the first time, I wanted to take care of it. Little by little, the weight came off. My hair grew past my shoulders again. I made friends who never once asked what I looked like in high school. To them, I was simply Evelyn. Nothing more. Nothing less. And somehow, that was enough. Meanwhile, Chase couldn't move on. Every Friday he called. Blocked. Every birthday. Blocked. Every holiday. Blocked. He sent letters. They all came back unopened. Eventually he flew to England. He waited outside my college for 6 straight hours. When I finally walked out, I almost didn't recognize him. He looked thinner. Older. Exhausted. Evelyn. I stopped. He smiled hopefully. I knew you'd come. I didn't. I just happened to be walking home. The hope faded. He stepped closer. I'm sorry. I know those words aren't enough. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I loved you. I tilted my head. No. You loved the version of me that finally walked away. The girl who stayed beside you for 15 years. You never loved at all. His lips trembled. I was stupid. You were cruel. I changed. So did I. I looked at the ancient buildings surrounding us. When I was younger, I thought losing you would destroy me. I smiled gently. It turns out, leaving you was the best thing that ever happened to me. I walked past him. This time, he was the one left standing alone, watching the person he'd thrown away disappear forever. And unlike before, she never looked back. Chase stayed exactly where I had left him. Students streamed around him, laughing, carrying books, speaking half a dozen different languages. No one knew he had just watched the biggest regret of his life walk away. Back in New York, people slowly learned the truth. Not the edited version Vivian had spread. The real one. That she'd drugged me. That she'd cut off my hair while I was unconscious. That the graduation play had been written to humiliate a classmate. The school quietly opened an investigation after several students finally admitted what they'd witnessed. No one wanted to protect Vivian anymore. The queen bee who had ruled the school through gossip suddenly found herself eating lunch alone. Even the cheerleaders avoided her. You really drugged someone? That's psycho. I thought it was just a prank. It wasn't. Within weeks, she resigned from every club she belonged to. The class presidency she'd wanted so badly became meaningless. People whispered every time she entered a room. Chase wasn't spared either. When people realized he'd bought the sleeping pills, the baseball captain everyone admired became the boy who had helped destroy his childhood friend's future. His coach called him into the office. Tell me it isn't true. Chase couldn't. The coach closed his eyes. I'm disappointed. More disappointed than angry. That hurt even worse. Oxford became my home. I buried myself in classes, rowing, and research. One rainy afternoon, I was leaving the library with an armful of books when someone caught one before it hit the ground. You dropped this. I looked up. A tall boy with messy brown hair smiled warmly. He wasn't movie star handsome. He looked kind. Thanks. I'm Noah. Evelyn. He noticed my awkward grip on the stack. You're carrying enough books to start your own library. I laughed. A real laugh. The first one that came naturally in years. 3 months later. Coffee? Sure. Study together? Okay. Worst professor? Definitely Dr. Hughes. He laughed. So it's unanimous. Everything with Noah was easy. There were no games. No pretending. No wondering if I was embarrassing him. He never commented on my weight. Never compared me to other girls. Never made me feel like I had to earn basic kindness. One evening after rowing practice, we were walking beside the river. He suddenly stopped. Evelyn. Yeah, I like you. No dramatic speech. No audience. No manipulation. Just honesty. I know you've probably been hurt before. You don't have to answer now. I just wanted you to know. I stared at him. You don't even know what I used to look like. He smiled. I know what you look like when you're excited about medieval history. I know you always buy strawberry yogurt. I know you laugh with your whole face. I know you pretend not to like cheesy romance novels. He grinned. I think that's enough. Before I realized it, my eyes filled with tears. Not because I was hurt, because no one had ever seen me that way before. Thousands of miles away, Chase stared at another photo someone had posted online. It was me, standing beside Noah after rowing practice. My hair had grown long again. I was smiling so brightly that he barely recognized me. His fingers shook as he zoomed in. Not on Noah. On me. That smile. He couldn't remember the last time he'd been the reason I'd smiled like that. Maybe. He never had. His mother quietly walked into his room. Still looking. He nodded. She sighed. I met Evelyn's mother yesterday. His head shot up. How is she? Proud. She said Evelyn called Oxford home. The word home stabbed him. His mother placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. You spent years believing she'd always wait. You confused unconditional love with permanence. When someone loves you, that's a gift. It isn't a lifetime contract. Chase lowered his head. I know. A tear landed on the phone screen, blurring my smiling face. I know now. But knowing couldn't change the fact that he had learned that lesson far too late. Epilogue, 5 years later. The old high school looked smaller than I remembered. The gym was decorated with silver banners for the 5-year reunion. Music played softly while old classmates laughed over embarrassing yearbook photos. When I walked through the doors, the room fell strangely quiet. Evelyn. No way. Is that really her? My hair, once hacked into uneven patches, now fell to my waist in soft waves. The girl who used to hide in oversized hoodies now stood confidently in a tailored navy dress, smiling without fear. Not because I had become beautiful. Because I had finally learned my worth wasn't determined by anyone else's opinion. My former teacher hurried over and hugged me. I've never been so proud of a student. I heard you graduated from Oxford with honors. I smiled. I did. And I accepted a research position. Applause broke out around us. The same classmates who had once laughed at me now looked at me with admiration and, for some, obvious guilt. Then the doors opened again. Chase walked in. The room grew quiet for a second time. He looked older than 23. The easy confidence that used to make girls chase him had disappeared. Instead, there was only someone carrying years of regret. Our eyes met. He slowly walked over. Hi, Evelyn. Hi, Chase. There was no anger in my voice. No bitterness. Just peace. You look happy, he said softly. I am. I'm glad. He smiled, but it never reached his eyes. I've replayed high school in my head every day. I know. I wanted to tell you. I'm sorry. I know. I don't expect forgiveness. You already have it. His eyes widened. What? I forgave you a long time ago. He looked as if he'd been given hope. Then I continued. Forgiveness isn't the same as wanting someone back. The hope disappeared just as quickly. I don't hate you anymore. I simply don't love you anymore. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then someone called my name. Evelyn. I turned. Noah walked into the gym carrying a bouquet of white lilies. He had flown in that morning after finishing a conference overseas. You forgot these in the car. He kissed my forehead without hesitation. The room erupted into whispers. Who's that? Her fiancé. Fiancé? I laughed. I forgot to tell everyone. I held up my left hand. A simple diamond sparkled beneath the lights. We're getting married this autumn. Noah smiled at Chase and offered his hand. You must be Chase. I've heard about you. Chase stared at the ring for several seconds before shaking Noah's hand. Take care of her. I intend to. There was no hostility. No competition. Only quiet certainty. Because Noah had never needed to win. He had simply loved me well. As Noah and I walked away together, Chase didn't follow. He just watched. Exactly as he had outside Oxford years ago. Only this time, he knew there would never be another chance. Later that evening, the reunion ended. The janitor found an old cardboard box that had been left in the storage room. Inside were class president records from elementary school. On top sat a tiny plastic crown. A faded note was taped underneath. In childish handwriting it read, "When Evelyn becomes class president, she'll definitely become someone amazing one day. Chase." The janitor smiled and left the note on a table. No one claimed it. Some promises belong to childhood. Some regrets belong to adulthood. And some people are only meant to teach us how to recognize the love we truly deserve.